Lupita Godinez looks to improve to 4-0 in 2023. That's a lot of fights this year. And now you're facing the number 10 ranked Tabatha Ricci. So how excited are you to be in in New York City rather, for this incredible fight card on Saturday?
No, well, I'm super excited. I cannot wait for Saturday. I feel great. It's been a great camp, and yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm just waiting for the days to go by. I gotta do a few stuff here and go fight.
This is an interesting matchup because Tabatha is mostly known for her grappling as well. More submission grappling, whereas you're more of a wrestling-based fighter. Do you expect that much of this fight's going to take place on the feet because that'll kind of offset both of your strengths?
Yeah, anything can happen. I'm ready for anything, and of course we train every area. So whatever takes place, I'm sure I have an answer for it, and yeah, as you say, maybe it's just gonna take place on the feet. Who knows?
I heard you say in another interview previously that when you're training now at Lobo, you're not really training for a specific opponent. You're more training to be the best version of yourself so that the opponent has to worry about what you bring to the table. Is that accurate? Is that really how you've been trained at Lobo?
Yeah, exactly. Because you never know if your opponent is gonna get changed, a week before the fight or 2 weeks before the fight, and that happened my last fight, right? They changed my opponent like 3 weeks before or something. So of course, we look at the opponent and we see their strengths, we see their style, and then we kind of like, okay, we gotta watch out for this. This is better for this opponent or not. But we just mostly working on getting better myself, because if I'm just better as a fighter, I think I can solve any problem the other fighter will give me.
Yeah, I guess if you train for every different style, if you have a late notice opponent, like you mentioned, like week of, you just never know what's going to happen. You're going to be prepared no matter who's in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, in law we go, so many guys and girls that they can mimic different styles. So that really helps.
So you fought just about 2 months ago. I think actually almost 2 months to the day, back at the Noche card, which is a great night for the Mexican fighters. Now, how much preparation did you have for this? Do you feel like it was enough time to get prepared? I know that you had gone back to Canada after the fight. How long did you stay in Canada for, and then when did you go back to Mexico to resume training?
Yeah, I was in Canada for about a week and a half or something like that, and got the call, and I went back to Mexico. So yeah, I do think it was enough time. It was about 5 weeks of training, but I already trained for 8 weeks before that. So I think it was perfect. It worked out pretty well for me. I think I like to do these back-to-back fights.
And, I mean, not to mention your last fight against Elise Reed. No disrespect to her, but you didn't take a whole lot of damage in that fight.
Yeah, exactly. No scratch at all. So healthy. So yeah, why not if I can?
Is this the ideal amount of times that you want to compete in a year? You have four this year. I know in 2021 you had four, and then last year only two.
Yeah, I love to be active. I love to fight every weekend if I can. That's what I do every day. So why not do it in a great show? Fight for the UFC is a dream that every fighter is dreaming to be at, and I get to step in the cage every month or every weekend. So of course, yeah, I'll take that.
Well, it also goes to show that a loss when you have one, and it's been a while, but at that time you're climbing your way up the division. When you have a loss, people say, "Oh well, now I guess it's not going to happen," and then suddenly you win three in a row. You're now fighting to enter the top 10 after this weekend. So a title shot is realistic by the end of next year.
Yeah, exactly. When you lose a fight, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean that you're not gonna reach your goal. It just means, it's just a little bit, it's just a little rock on the way that is up to me or up to the fighter to jump that or to overcome that, right? So yeah, I just choose like the time that I have lost. I just choose to learn from that and just get better from that and improve and get back in the cage and do it even better and now we're here.
And you have something kind of in common with Tabatha. When Tabatha first came to the UFC, she had to fight Manon Fior, who's a big 125-pound fighter. You had the same sort of thing with Luana Carolina. You took that fight on short notice, took something of a risk. And, both of you are kind of on the smaller side for strawweight as well. But I think it goes to show that both of you are kind of both very game fighters that are willing to take risks to get into the highest part of the rankings in women's strawweight.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think if you don't take a risk, then you're not gonna win. Like you're not winning anything, You're not gaining knowledge or experience. So like for me to step in the opportunities that they offer me is is huge for me. I love it, It's something that I really enjoy, and if they're heavier or bigger or doesn't matter. I want to get in there and just do it. Just do it because what's the worst thing that can happen, right? Just lose a fight, and what? Just come the next month and start, winning again, and it's not the end of the world.
Now, I know people have been asking you about the card in Toronto in January. You don't want to put the cart before the horse since you're fighting this weekend, but I've also heard that they may be going to Mexico City. I think in February is something that I had been hearing. So if they give you the option, you can fight in Canada in January or Mexico City in February. I know you've never fought in Mexico before, at least in MMA. What would you choose between those two?
That's a tough one, and I will both. How about that? I would like to be in both. I feel like I show that I can fight back to back. So if I can do both, that will be great.
So in other words, you want to be on both of those cards. Either of them are
Yes,
fine, but if you could do both, you'll do both.
yes, exactly.
Well, we got to love that attitude. It's always great to have someone like yourself representing both Canada and Mexico, and fighting, with the amount of time as people representing two countries. So it's like you're fighting the schedule of two different fighters.
Exactly, exactly. But I can do it. If
Well,
someone can do it,
we've
it's
seen
me.
it,
Yes.
and we're looking forward to seeing you do your thing this Saturday. Yourself, Tabatha Ricci. It's at Madison Square Garden in New York. Have you had a chance to explore the city as of yet?
No, I haven't, but I'm staying extra a few days just to see the city and explore and enjoy New York. That I never been here, so I'm very excited.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. You've never been, so what's it been like so far for you to see? I know where the fighters stay because I've covered events in New York in the past couple of years, and it's been a pretty busy area of the city. It's a lot going on.
Yeah, honestly, I just got in last night, but when I was coming with my ride, it's great. I love I love the buildings, I love all the lightings, I love all of that. So I'm excited to stay in just a few days here.
Does it feel like a bigger event to you?
Um, Honestly, no yet, but at the same time, I never try to see the events like, oh my God, this is so big, oh my gosh, because like that's you're just putting pressure on yourself. So yes, I'm just enjoying the process and no being bigger than myself, I guess, because if they choose me to be here, it's because I can do it.
Are you able to kind of do both, where you explore the city, you see that it's a big deal, that it's one of the biggest cities in the world in terms of tourism and of course all of the different things going on. But then once you're in the arena, you can separate that. You're in a locker room, you're making the walk with people cheering, and you can take where you are kind of out of the equation on the night of the fight.
Oh, 100%. Once you are getting my hands wrapped, you're warming up, you're gonna come out. That's just that's the business. Doesn't matter if you are in the parking lot or in New York or in Vegas or doesn't matter. You are doing the same thing as if you were in Chilliwack.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing it on Saturday. The amount of growth that you've had since moving to Lobo Gym, I think, is impossible to ignore. I saw your only fight that you've had in Canada was at BTC. I was actually at that event, and I think that the progression you've made from that event to now, which I think has only been 3, maybe 4 years, is just
Hmm.
remarkable. So we're looking forward to seeing more of your growth on Saturday against Tabatha Ricci. Thanks so much for doing this.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good day.